Hey everyone, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here, bringing you a RavenQuest update. I have some interesting information, including numbers about the first couple weeks of RavenQuest, as well as some tips and some thoughts after playing the game for maybe 40 to 50 hours so far. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Okay, I wanted to start out on X because I saw this and earlier on my X feed, and I wanted to dig in a little bit because it's pretty interesting, really, to tell you the truth. In Web3, I've been covering Web3 games for quite a while now. And I'm used to kind of covering smaller games, so whenever I start seeing large numbers, I find them interesting. So this is right off of RavenQuest's official post, and we're just going to run through here fast, and then I'm going to transition into my thoughts after playing the game for a couple weeks. Okay, so what really caught my eye is all these high numbers. Basically, they've been talking about in various posts over the last couple weeks how many people have actually been logging into the game, and if you've tried to log into the game, you know without patron status, you know there's quite a queue to sit through. So subscribing for the patron status, one of the benefits is not really having a queue. I think I usually sit there for a minute or two, but that's it. But I've heard people report of longer queues. And by the way, if you're just checking out this game and you want to get in and try it out, it's free to play. It does have a crypto side of it if you want to get into that. But if you just want to play the game, it's a fun game. Let me tell you this. It's one of the funnest Web3 games I've played in quite a while. So I will tell you that. I do have a link, referral link in the show notes. If you want to use that, get yourself some free packs and a title. And they change what they offer from time to time, but I think you're definitely going to get some free packs out of it. Anyway, let's jump in and see what the first 2 weeks of RavenQuest has brought. 1.6 million Twitch views. Almost 350,000 collection volume bought and sold. Third in GameFi mindshare, plus 21,000 new Discord members. 16 million nodes mined, like you go in the game. That's going to be one of my tips, flash forward. But more than 16 million nodes mined and 11 million plus potatoes gathered. That's one of the first crops, the first crop you can grow in game. So a lot of potatoes have been gathered. 5 million plus fish caught. One of the first I guess you would say round of nerfs in the game had to do with fishing, because people were just fishing, and for some reason the numbers were not balanced, and I didn't get 100% of exactly what was involved, but basically what it boiled down to was people were making too much money too fast off of fishing. So they've done a few rounds of nerfing rebalancing. Fishing's still pretty fun, and fishing is still, I would advise to do it if you can. But that's for a few minutes from now. 1.7 million marketplace transactions. So getting in, buying and selling materials, creating things, selling those things on the marketplace, that type of things, and 855,000 Ravenpacks opened. So as we scroll down, it goes ahead and they go ahead and post a few more things here. RavenQuest reigns king of Web3, the most watched Web3 game in the world. 1,648,000 total views. Over 700,000 unique viewers. Stands amongst the top 5 MMORPGs in the world. Let that sink in. Not just Web3, top 5 in the world. That means it's up there ranking with WoW and things like that as far as views go on Twitch. Over 53 million total minutes watched, more than 9,000 peak concurrent viewers. So, with all that to say, it's been very popular viewing over the last couple weeks. Okay, I just thought that was interesting, so I thought I wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. my thoughts after playing the game for a good solid 2 weeks. And like I said, I'm not a hardcore gamer. There are reports of people already level 60, level 70, no lifing it, playing it for, 12 to more hours a day. I can't do that. I got a job, etc. But I've been putting a good 2 hours in per evening, and I've been having fun. So I figured I would come up with some tips for those people that are beginning to play that should help you out. Things that I wish I knew before setting foot into RavenQuest, because it's very clear that those people who played Raven Dawn had a huge leg up on everybody else. I mean, I'm just jumping into the game and trying to figure things out. They've got huge farms laid out. They're already hitting level 50, conquering dragons, and I'm just walking around picking flowers. So, don't be discouraged by that. I usually take games at my own pace and just enjoy the games for what they are, and I don't rush through them. So that is my point of view. If you are looking for videos about how to min-max characters and how to skip straight to the end, that's not what I'm going to be about. I'm going to provide tips on getting in and learning to play the game, as well as we transition into the Web3 part of it, earning and being able to buy and sell the quest token, which went live to a certain extent this week and tomorrow. Earlier this week, it went live as far as being able to buy quest token for silver on the marketplace, and now we're going to be able to trade it on the Immutable website as well. So we'll get into that later, but let's just jump into game. Okay, I'm going to provide a few tips here, and they're in no particular order. These are just things that I think that a new player should be aware of and should do on a daily basis and prioritize, really just depending upon how much time you have, depends upon how much of it you can get done, right? The first thing I want to point out is if you go into your inventory on a daily basis, you will have login streak bonus chests. So there it behooves you to go ahead and continue your login streak so you get more. So you keep up the login streak, and like this will give me 840 fame. And then also open up the fame quest or the fame chest, and that gives you a certain amount of fame depending upon what you did yesterday in game. So as you get in, play, do quest, and do any of these number of things, you get a certain amount of fame for it, and that builds your renown multiplier. So both of these are what you want to build up over time, and therefore start getting more quest over time. So make sure that you open these chests on a daily basis. Once again, you just go into your inventory and switch over to the quest tab and open those. Now, we're right here by the garden, so the next thing that I would say to do on a daily basis is come into the garden and make sure you have something planted and harvest it on a daily basis. Now, I tend to do this twice a day. I will come in early in the morning before I go to work. I'll plant some crops and then harvest it later in the evening when I get home from work and they've matured. Now, a lot of this game is around growing or harvesting or picking stuff and then making something with it, or taking what you harvest and then just selling it on the auction house and that's a good way to make money. This includes various things like especially fishing, which is very popular, and I mentioned that a few minutes ago. So like here, I've got some apple trees planted. You would just go in, and the interaction button is always going to be F in game. So we'll click that and click F1, and you do your little mini game, and I harvested 4 apples. Plus, when you do the harvesting in game and picking and mining and stuff, you get experience. So that's one of my secondary tips, is that don't bypass chopping trees or harvesting flowers, or coming over here and planting things in your garden and harvesting those, because it's a good way to level up. Not only can you use what you harvest to sell or make items with and then sell or use, you also get experience off that. And this is one of those things that kind of really is annoying part is I get stuck on the artwork all the time, and then I have to end up logging out and logging back into the game. This happens to me like, once every 10 minutes or something like that, maybe 15 minutes in the game. Let me know in the comments if this is happening to you. Okay, the next thing I want to really emphasize here is awareness. I'm not a fan of PvP, but this game does have PvP that cycles in and out of different areas depending upon where you're at. So, depending upon if you're pro PvP or you're anti, either way, you want to be very aware of what status the zone is in. And by that, I mean you look up at the right corner and you see the name of this zone is called South Glademire, okay? And you see that it's in blue. And in fact, if we press the map button and we come out, we can look at Glademire Fort, which is I'm standing in, and you can see the icon near here. Glademire is in peace. Okay. Now, if you looked up and the wording was in red, that should instantly tell you that there is PvP available. Okay, and then this would be a red icon instead of the blue peace dove or white dove of peace. Okay, so when you're walking around and harvesting and doing other activities, killing mobs and stuff, whatever you're doing for quests, be aware of the status of the area you're in. So if you, so you don't get ganked, right? So, okay. Also under the awareness category is something that took me a little bit to figure out. When you are in dungeons, due to the artwork style, it is relatively easy to get lost in dungeons, especially dungeons in this game have multiple levels. You can quickly find yourself 4 levels deep in a dungeon and don't know how to get out. Okay. Look up in the right-hand corner, the little mini-map, and you will notice that you have some green and red triangles. The green triangles, if you want to go up a level, that's where you navigate yourself to. If you're trying to go down, you're going to navigate towards the red triangles. Okay, another thing that will help you over time and actually give you something to do other than standing around and just mindlessly grinding are doing the daily quests. And they fall under 2 main categories other than this is not just like the storyline quests. There's interesting storyline quests that go on. This is the daily type quest. If you come down here to the adventurers board and open that, you can get a number of different quests that, they revolve around hunting, mining, growing crops, making things, completing Rangers Company quest as well. Now, that's why I'm out here at the Rangers Company board, because if you can line up both of them, let's open up the board here, and you will have a number of different 3 different things to choose from, depending upon really how much time you've got to spend, because they start out small and it works its way up to harder and harder. And notice another advantage to having the patron status is if you didn't like any of these, you do get a free reroll every day. But my main point is if you can line up and say, for instance, I wanted to go and hunt pirates out on Harbor Island, I could accept this and also look at my adventurers board, and I could also accept the hunting, and I could work both of those at the same time. Now, it really just depends upon how much time you have during the day to play. This is one of those games where you could easily sink hours into it and lose your time if you don't keep track of that and do things that you need to do. But with that said, if you could shoot for at least doing a few of these per day over time, that's going to help you out, because you can see that they give you several different things. They give you infusions, which helps you increase the level and quality of your armor and equipment on it. They obviously give you some experience. They give you an Aether Rift charge, which is a spawned instance that you would get into a group and fight a boss monster in. And they also give you some sort of buff. So if I do this quest, I will get Harmonious Spirit, which is a buff that will take place basically the rest of the day, which is a good thing. So you do several of these and you start racking up these buffs, and it just makes it easier for you over time. So complete complete several of these quests on a daily basis, and it'll help you out over time. Next, it should be clear that you want to buff up and make your character better, but to me, when I first started playing, it wasn't immediately clear how you go about that. Okay, so in a lot of other games, you would get equipment dropped off of mobs and stuff like that you kill. In this game, for the majority of everything is made by players and sold on the auction house here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go up to the Monk Broker, and then you're going to want to check out the marketplace, and then you can go in here and you can look up the equipment by, say for instance, you wanted a new set of pants, and you can look in here, and they are sectioned off by tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, 3, 4. As you go up, they're going to be different rarities. They're going to have strong, as they go up, they're going to be more expensive, but they're also going to be stronger equipment. So as you go up in level, you're going to want to graduate up, in your tiers of your equipment. But with that said, that's the only start, and on these you can also look at the gear and you can tell what are the actual stats, because they vary, because one outlaw legs is not the same as another outlaw legs tier 4. You can look at this outlaw legs tier 4 and say it's got 4 defense, it's got 1 dexterity, 1 might, and 2 vitality, and a bunch of secondary attributes depending upon how you want to build out your character. But the next set of outlaw legs will have different stats. Okay. So basically the first step is find some equipment that you want to wear on your character, and which is level appropriate. At my point, I haven't hit level 30 yet, and I'm wearing tier 2. So I'm getting to the point where I think maybe I could graduate up to tier 3. But with that said, if you go into the infusion down here, the little sword, you will see your main gear here. And I mentioned earlier the infusions that you get, and they randomly drop off of mobs that you're killing, right? And what you can do is you can see that I have these start off as common, and then you level them up. And what you do is you take, say for instance, I wanted to level up my hood here. I would take this over here and I would add my hood here. It shows me the stats, and then I would take my infusions. I don't have enough to level it up, but I would put my infusions here, and you can see that it gets me about this many infusions would get me about 3/4 of the way there. So I don't have enough to level it up. But what would happen is if I did level it up, it would give me some new stats over here. Now, this also comes into play because what I feel is one of the beautiful things that they designed into this is you don't have to worry about spending a lot of time and effort buffing up my tier 2 armor. I'm not going to lose it, right? So in the future, if I buy, and when I buy some tier 3 armor, what I would do is I would, instead of these warband infusions, I would take my new helm and put it here, and I would put my old helm, this old one, in slot 1, and it would combine them and give me a really good upgrade to that helm. Okay, so there's no need to worry about spending a lot of time, effort, and money increasing your armor, because you're never going to lose it. You just combine it into the next new set. So that is how you buy your armor and increase its effectiveness over time. Now, while we're on that topic, another way to increase your character's effectiveness is to go under archetypes and select this little switch here at the bottom and switch from skills to cards. Now, I talked about this in a previous video where I bought some card packs and opened them up, and that is the advantage to buying card packs. You get card packs as time goes along in game. In fact, I'm getting ready to open some here, and you can collect those, and they come in 2 different varieties. A variety where it's just good in game, but also if you buy them for crypto, then you can also take them out of the game as NFT keys and buy, sell, and trade them. Okay, so since we're here, let's go ahead and every 5 levels you're going to have a North Star quest. And I had hit this a little while ago, but I saved it so we could go ahead and open it up on screen. So I reached level 25 a few days ago, and for level 25 I'm going to claim my North Star rewards, which gives me 100 infusions, 4,000 silver, 1 small land deed, 5 adventurer packs, 1 standard pack, a new title, and my bonus rewards for being a member are a standard pack and 4,000 silver. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I wanted to do was go ahead and go into the Ravenpacks and open them up. You click on Raven cards and then in packs, and I have several packs to open up here. So let's just go ahead and open up some packs. I'm hoping for a Goblin Wizard, which would increase my fireball. Okay, not bad, not bad. Not great, but okay. Got a rare. Nice. Shadow Fox Ninetails. Okay, so let's just go ahead and open 5 of these packs, adventurer packs. Nothing great. Let's see here. And open the last pack. Okay, so I still haven't got anything rarer than the rare card. One thing that I'll mention again that I find really cool in this game is if you get a card of one of the top 2 rarities, then they will actually send you a physical copy of the card in hard plastic out to you. So I thought that's cool. Anyway, my point here being that you would go under archetypes, select cards, and then click on the powers that you have selected to use for your character and add a card. Each power is going to have a selection of 1 of 2 different cards, and it is going to, each different card is going to add more power to that power as well as change it slightly. So this definitely behooves you to go ahead and get your cards, and also you can also level up the cards once, just kind of like you level up your armor. If you go under Raven cards, and we'll select this off, let's go ahead and select Goblin Wizard just because I had just mentioned it, and it's one I use because I'm playing a mage. So if you go in, and you can see that this fireball critical hits have a 28% chance to reduce the cooldown of Pyroblast by 3 seconds. Now, if you level this up, and this is just a common, you level it up, and as you continue to level it up, it's going to have a better effect. Now, the other thing you can do is you can actually go over on the market on Token Trove, and you can just buy a card. So instead of going through the process of earning tokens and leveling up the cards in game, then I can take and I can come over here and I can see that, hey, there's a Goblin Wizard. It's rare, and I can buy one for $3.98 if I wanted to. While we're over here, I can show you that I went through the process of removing some of the cards out of the game to Token Trove to put them up for sale just to try it out. And here's a little bit of a warning. When you remove those from game, they do take 72 hours before they populate in Token Trove for sale. So I have not been successful in selling any thus far, but as you can see, these are my 4 that I removed. They're uncommons, and I put them up for sale. But I just wanted to test it out. And in game, if you wanted to do that, what you would do is you would come down here to the little icon that says withdrawable inventory and click on that. And then you can, just depending upon what you're trying to remove, I don't have any lands in game. I do have some Raven cards, as you saw in one of the pack opening videos. But you can see that I have some of these that I could remove to Token Trove like I just discussed. And what you would do is you would come in here and you would just select one, and then you can press withdrawal. Like I said, it does take 72 hours to remove. But if you wanted to just buff up your cards without buying off a Token Trove, just using them in game, then what you would have to do is come into the card selection, and then say, for instance, I wanted to buff up the Hobgoblin. I would select upgrade, and then I could upgrade a card, and it would show me how many crystals. I don't even know what these red crystals are called, but you would have to have 60 red crystals to upgrade this card to uncommon. Now, how do you get those crystals? Well, you have to burn other cards that you're not using to get crystals. It's a mechanism in the game. It's a burn mechanism to keep the numbers of cards down, so there's just not a huge overabundance of them, while helping you level up your cards. Okay, well, I know I hit you with a lot of information. Sorry if it was too much, but it's been a while. I've been playing for a few weeks, and I wanted to hit you with hopefully some good tips that'll help you out, as well as information on this game is doing extremely well. They had a huge showing of people on both Twitch and X representing the game, streaming the game, talking about the game. So far, I'm having fun. I did get my one tip on being very aware. Really just came from getting whacked. Being in a zone, I was concentrating on fishing, which is another tip. If you get whacked, whether it's by a person or by animals or whatever mobs, you will drop what you're holding. Now, not all but if you're holding like a bunch of fish, a bunch of ore, stuff like that, you're going to drop it. So it would also behoove you to make regular trips back to town and sell what you're gathering, especially if you're in and amongst a bunch of monsters and stuff like that. Either way, I'll cut off the tips here. This has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone's having fun in RavenQuest. And once again, if you'd like to check it out, go ahead and use my referral code in the show notes and get yourself some free packs. Otherwise, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in RavenQuest.